want to welcome each and every one of you for being here today, and I'm encouraged. Today I want to talk about and encourage you on goal setting. When I first heard that, I said, goal setting? I heard that in prison. Goal setting? What the world is that? So today's teaching is going to be called The Race Set Before You. So my question to each and every one of you, are you ready? Have you prepared for the race set before you? Because there is a race, and it is set before you, and you're running it. The question is, have you prepared? How prepared are you? Do you even want to win? So I want to start with a scripture that I found in 1 Corinthians 9:24. It's always good to go to the scriptures, right? That's a good book to look into, right? It's a good book to read. And I thought I'd read this to you as a starting point to our meeting today. It goes like this, 1 Corinthians 9:23. Do you not know that those who run in a race, they all run? But there's only one winner. Run then, as in such a way that you are going to win. And everyone who completes or competes for the prize is temperate in all things. Now those who run the race, they do it to obtain a perishable crown, but we for an imperishable crown. Therefore, run, not with uncertainty. Thus I fight, Paul said, not as one who beats the air, but I am disciplined. We spoke about discipline a few weeks ago. I discipline my body. Listen to what he says. I discipline my what? Body, and bring it into subjection, lest when I have preached to others, I myself should become disqualified. You know, I was reading that scripture and I thought about it because he's talking about running a race. He's talking about being prepared to run this race that's in front of you. And then he says, here's how I do it. I discipline my life, right? And listen to this. And then he says, and I bring into subjection my body. In other words, there's some things that you're going to have to force yourself to do. Does that make sense? So I thought about this because I got inspired today. I saw a link online about a guy named Gonzalez. I'll tell you about him. And he posted this link or this saying. He was speaking about himself. I know him. And I thought I'd share it with you because it inspired me to share this with you today. Here's what he said. Here's the title of this. Gonzalez, a ninja warrior athlete. It was all just a dream. Listen closely. It was all just a dream for about 2 seconds. Then it became a decision. And let me repeat that one because that's what caught my attention. He said it was all just a dream for just about 2 seconds. But then then it became a decision. I committed to myself, he said. And this is what I want to challenge you today. A decision to commit to yourself. He said, I was going to become an America ninja warrior. Period. He said, not only was I going to become one, I was going to win. I always understood that everything has a process. It's him doing this. And I made sure that I did everything I needed to do to get ready. Listen closely. He said, I changed the goal of my weight. I changed my training style. I changed the gyms I went to. I changed the YouTube videos I watched. I changed the competition mindset that I had. Then I quit my high-paying job in the oil field. Oh, now this one, he said, made my family nervous. But all these changes, he said, changed me. They changed this athlete, he said, into a competitor that could finish courses. An athlete that can still, because he won again, finish 7 years later in the Ninja Warrior competition. Abel Gonzalez. About 6 months ago, about a year ago, when we were, no, longer than that, over a year ago, I showed a video of Abel. Abel has an incredible story. Abel lost his mother when he was like 15. He had to care for his siblings. Abel got sick when he was very young. I don't remember the whole story, but he got, what did I tell you it was? Arthritis. Does anybody remember that? What was it called? Arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis. He started taking medication. You're talking about a 15, 16, 17-year-old who had lost his mom. And he was starting feeling weak and fatigued. He'd go to the doctor and told him, you have this arthritis. They started giving him medication. Listen closely. This is powerful. Gets me wired up just thinking about it. And he was going to the doctor for a few years, few months. I don't know what it was, but he was getting worse. The medication wasn't working. The last visit that he went to the doctor, his doctor told him, listen, Abel, I'm sorry, but here's some medication for you. There's nothing I can do for you. Have you ever heard those words? There's nothing I can do for you. He said, you're going to have to learn. Listen closer to what the doctor told him. You're going to have to learn to live with it. In fact, it's going to get worse. And you'll never be able to do much. The doctor told him this. He said that he took that last prescription that the doctor gave him. Let me use something else. I don't want to. Doctor gave him a prescription. He walked out of that doctor's office and he ripped it. Maybe some things in your life you need to rip, throw away. And he said, I'm not going down like this. Listen to what this dude did. He started researching, brother. Rheumatoid arthritis. I don't even know how to say it. He started researching. What causes this? What's the problem? What started researching, literally studying. And started learning about how this affects this in his body and his eating habits and this and that and that. He started getting better, brother. And then he was watching videos. He used to watch a Ninja Warrior, not the Ninja Warrior that he was in, but something similar. And he started beating it. He started getting stronger, brother. He started exercising. And then just some inside him said, you know what? I'm going to do that. This is why this caught my attention, because I know the story. And he said, man, I'm going to train for this. And of course, everybody told him he was crazy. Right? Anybody ever tell you that? Ya estás loco, de la chorcha esa, cálmate. You're going to change your life, cálmate. You're going to stop smoking weed, cálmate. See, if you're trying to do something better for your life, brother, there's going to be some naysayers. There's going to be people that don't believe in you, and for good reason. Who can agree to that? But he said, I'm going to do it. long story short, I think it was 2016, 17, I don't remember what it was. He was the last one picked to run the race in American Ninja Warriors. Came in last to compete, but he came in first. He won the... And guess where Abel Gonzalez is from? Let me help you out a little bit. He's from Edinburgh, Texas. Yeah. So Abel Gonzalez, if you're watching, you watch this one day, man, you're doing a great job. You're an inspiration. Look him up. I met with him, had lunch with him, breakfast with him. Just a normal guy, just like you and me. But see, he had a dream that became a decision, that became a commitment. So, what about your race set before you? What have you committed to? Today, what I want to challenge you today is I want to talk to you about your goals. Where are you going? That's what I want to talk to you about. So I looked up my notes that I had, went back into my computer, and I looked up Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn is one of my favorite business mentors that I learned a lot, I teach a lot from. And this is his little take on goal setting. Because if you are going to do anything in life, if you're going to change your life, if you're going to be able to overcome the obstacles that are set before you, Chavarria, you're going to have to set some goals. And I'm going to help you tonight. We're going to set some goals tonight. But before we do that, let me read you what goal setting is all about. So you'll understand why goal setting. Because when I first heard this, goal setting, I said, goal setting? What? It didn't make any sense to me. I thought that was just fantasy. I thought that was just for, I didn't know what it was for. I had no idea. Goal setting? What do you mean goal setting? Yeah, you set a goal. You know what? I'm going to lose this much weight this time. And then you set out to do it. That's a goal. I'm going to pay off my credit card by this time. And then you set out and do it. That's a goal. So let's read what Jim Rohn says. Here's what he said. What goals do is set... Oh, I'm sorry. What goals did you set at the beginning of this year? Have you accomplished any of them? See, personal development and personal growth legend Jim Rohn says that listen to this, the most valuable lessons that lie not in the destination, but in the journey. See, this is what you're going through right now. You're going through a journey. This little class right here is just part of the journey. It's just a piece of the puzzle. The process. The real value in setting goals, listen to this powerful stuff, man. I'm telling you, you get this, it'll change your life. The real value in setting goals is not the achievement of them. The real value is strictly secondary. The major reason for setting goals is to compel you to become the person it takes to even reach those goals. Let me repeat that. It's not the goal in the achievement of getting there. It's not the achievement itself. It's the person you have to become to get there. See, you can't just say, I'm going to do something and think you're going to stay the same. It doesn't work that way. Something has to change. And guess who has to change? Wild guess. Me. This is not rocket science, I'm telling you. It starts with a decision. If you were a loser like me, I'm not calling nobody a loser, I'm just telling you, I was a loser. And I made a decision in prison that I was going to be a winner. Simple as that. And I set out to do it. That's how I did it, period. I didn't know how I was going to get there. You don't have to know how you're going to get there. Don't worry. Just set the goal. Say you want to be a millionaire. Let's say you want to be a millionaire. The greatest value in becoming a millionaire isn't the $1 million. It's not. I used to say, what? Yeah, it is. $1 million. No, it's not. Because if you make $1 million and you lose them, guess what? You can make them again because you already know how. Isn't that powerful? Think about that for a minute. He says, the greatest value in becoming a millionaire is not the $1 million. The greatest value is the skills and the knowledge and the discipline and the leadership qualities that you'll develop reaching that kind of status in life. Man, if you can just get this. $1 million doesn't make you a millionaire. Achieving. In other words, if I give you $1 million, does that make you a millionaire? You can be an idiot with $1 million. And guess what you'll do with them? Lose it. And those are true stats. Answer this question. What kind of person will you have to become to get what you want? What kind of person do you have to become to get what you want? I remember all I wanted to do, I remember being a drug addict, and all I ever wanted to do was just use drugs. Do whatever it took to use drugs. So what did I have to become? A drug addict. That was easy. But what do you have to become in order to get what you want? Write down the kinds of skills you'll need to learn and develop. What kind of knowledge are you going to need to have? He says, your answers might give you some new goals for your personal growth and development. Work on your goals, he says. He says, your ability will grow to match your dreams. See, that's why I just told Daniel today, I was thinking about, I was excited. I work 16-hour days, believe it or not. At least 12 for sure. From 6:30 that I get up till 10:30 that I lay down. I have to force myself to stop. But because I'm on a mission. See, I know where I come from. See, this right here, brother, never leaves my mind. Never. Because you know where I come from. It never leaves my mind. I know what I used to be, Chavarria. And when I look at what I am today, that's why I lift up my hands in church and say, thank you, Jesus. Because I know where I come from. And not because I learned to set goals. Crazy, just crazy. I didn't know I was doing that. I had no idea I was doing that. But I started putting it together. See, this is why I'm so passionate about teaching you. Because I know if you just get it, it'll change your life. It'll change your life. See, this is the magic of goal setting. The more you work on your goals, the more new opportunities arise. It's amazing. The more you keep coming to church, the better you start, more you start learning and growing. The more you come to this class, the more you read. It's a process. You can make big things happen in your life. You can make startling changes that you can't even conceive right now. If you just give yourself just half the chance. Goals. Chavarria, pass these around, please. Tonight I want to challenge you. See, because I don't want to just teach you some stuff. I want to challenge you. And for the next 10, 15 minutes, we're going to work on this. I made it real simple. I remember the first time I worked on something like this. And Andy, maybe you were here last time we did this.
We did 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago, right? Here's what goals will do as we get ready to fill these things out. There's no telling what you can do when you get inspired by your goals. There's no telling what you can do when you believe in your goals. And there's no telling what will happen when you act upon your goals. So I want you to write your name up there. This is for you. This is for you. Here you go. Here you go, brother. See, this is why you don't want to miss a choose a change, because there's always, you're going to learn something every single time you walk into this room. Because I'm telling you, I have a massive amount of information that just takes me a long life. I want to help you. If you're watching on Facebook or wherever you're watching, we're going to do a little quick goal setting workshop. 10, 15 minutes, this last half of this class. You put your name. And it's real simple. It says 10 goal setting workshop. I don't know if I'm supposed to put that 10 or not, but number 1 says, list 5 things that you have already accomplished in your life that you're proud of. Why don't you just write that down? Take a couple of minutes to write that down. Maybe you stopped smoking and you're proud of that. Maybe you lost some weight and you're proud of that. Maybe you got into better health and you're proud of that. Maybe you got the job that you wanted or the raise that you wanted, and you're proud of that. You achieved something that maybe you were homeless and now you're not. Just whatever it may be for you. Just in the last year, just in this year, what are 5 things that you believe you have accomplished that you're proud of? Maybe you saved $1,000 and you never had done that before. Maybe you opened a bank account. Maybe you bought a car or a truck, and whatever it may be for you that you feel like, you know what, I'm proud of this. See, because it's important to at least look at yourself. What do we call this? Just evaluating your life a little bit. Just a little bit, because you should do this a lot, actually. You should look at what you've done. It's called results. Because results is what? It's the name of the game. So think about that for a minute. So list 5 things that you have already accomplished in your life that you are proud of. Give it a couple more minutes there. As you guys are doing that, just want to thank everybody who watches on Facebook. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. I think it's Orlando Salinas in YouTube. And you can watch a lot of our videos. Also, join our Facebook private group. You're welcome to do that. You can download 7 things that you do not need to have success in life. There's some resources that I'm going to start putting out. And send me a message. Let me know if there's something you want to learn or know, or some advice that you might have for me. And as I continue to build this audience, this team, this organization, the Choose the Change Foundation. And if you believe in what we're doing, because I give all this for free here in McAllen, Texas. I'm going to start to go back into the prisons. You can go to on my website, Choose the Change Foundation, and you can donate to our cause. Right now, the prison is asking for if we can do something online. So I'm going to try to put something online, but I need resources. So if you believe in what you're doing, please consider giving to the Choose the Change Foundation. And every time you buy our book, Dead Man Walking, on Amazon for $10, it all goes to the Choose the Change Foundation. Dead Man Walking, how I went from convict and drug addict to CEO and international speaker. All right. The next, number 2. Here's the one I want you to spend about next 3 or 4 or 5 minutes on. List 10 to 15 things that you would like to have or do or see or become in the next 10 years. And I'll tell you why 10 years in a minute. Start thinking. What would you like to have? Maybe you want to have your own house within 10 years. Maybe you want to have $10,000 saved in 10 years. Maybe you want to have lost 20 pounds, even if it takes you 6 months to do it, but in the next 10 years. Maybe you want to buy a rental home. Maybe you want to get out of debt. You know, by in 10 years, I'll be out of debt. Maybe you say, you know what, but in 10 years, I want to be married with kids and happily married. Whatever it is, think about it for a minute. Because these are goals. I remember when I did this in prison. When I thought about what I wanted to do when I got out, I remember I wanted to start my own business. I wanted to get my first work truck. I wanted to get my own house. I wanted to become a better father, a better husband, a better leader. I wanted to be a speaker. I didn't know how I wanted to, but that was a secret thing that I had. I wanted to be a speaker. You know. So think about it. Listen, don't worry about if you have money or don't have money or it sounds crazy to someone else. This is for you. What would you want if nothing was stopping you? See, this is what will help you think. It'll help you think. Maybe you want to get out of the messed up relationship you're in. Maybe you want to get out of the legal problems you're in. Maybe you just anything. You know, maybe you want to buy a better set of clothes. Anything, you know, whatever. You know, want to get in better health. Some of you have dreams of maybe having your own business one day. You want to, this is important when you start thinking about these things. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to be a speaker like me. Maybe you want to Choose a Change one day. I don't know. Maybe you want to see your children one day. You know, I don't know what you have in your mind. Who has at least 5 things that are already written? Who has at least 5? You can't think of anything, Mandy? You can't think of anything? You have at least 5 things or no? Awesome. I'll give you a couple more minutes. You know, you can put like things like, you know, I want to have my own house. I want to have a better truck, a better car. I want to have lost 20 pounds. I want to be in better health. I want to have my own business. I want to have some investments. You know, I'm just trying to trigger your mind. I'm going to pay off all my debt. I'm going to be a better person. You can put that. But if you think of something else, you can go ahead and put it. Because now what I want you to do is the next thing. I think it says number 2 también, ¿verdad? The next page. Beside each of the above 10 or 15 things, you need to put the number either 1, 3, 5, or 10. What those numbers are going to indicate is which one of those goals do you think you would like to do within 1 year? Then you put a 1 next to it. Which one of those goals do you think you'd like to accomplish within 3 years? You put a 3 next to it. And then which one do you want to accomplish at least in 5 years? Then you put a 5 next to it. And maybe it's like, you know, you want to save $10,000 and that might take you 10 years. We'll put a 10 over it next to it. So if you would like to accomplish it in 1 year, put a 1 next to it. If you want to accomplish it within at least the next 3 years, put a 3 next to it. Within at least the next 5 years, put a 5 next to it. And then put a 10 if you want to do it at least within the last. I had a 20-year plan, by the way, when I did this. I still have it. And I'm 3 years away from 20 years. 3 years away. I have not accomplished half of them, but I have accomplished several of them. But I still have 3 more years, so things can change in 3 more years because things are about to get crazier. And then the next one says, now list the 4 1-year goals that you just wrote down. Every goal that you put a 1 next to, put these goals on this paper. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the goals that are most important for you to focus on. In other words, you want to focus on these goals first. So in case you don't realize what you're doing, you're working your mental muscles. This is how it works. I didn't know that. Because what this does is kind of like takes you out of it messes with your mind like, whoa, I've never thought like this. I've never seen things like this. Who's ever worked out? Worked out? You know a little bit about working out, about the muscles, breathing techniques, but also building muscle, right? I don't know too much about it, but supposedly you have to rest your muscle, and that's how it builds. Well, it's the same thing with your mind. When you start using your mind, there's a guy named Earl Nightingale. You should look him up. Earl Nightingale talks about the problem with men is that we don't use our mind. We don't use our mind. That's why men have such a bad reputation when it comes in a marriage. Because we don't use our minds. At least, I mean, this is the idea, the general idea. And it's true, though. We don't use our minds. When you start using your mind, in my business, I have a remodeling business, a very successful remodeling business. I have men who do a lot of work for me. You know, I think I get more tired doing what I do because I just use my mind a lot. And I'm exhausted at the end of the day. But I don't want to change jobs. But it's the same thing. It's like a muscle, a physical muscle. So is the mind. So I want you to do me a favor. Does everybody have at least 4 goals that you want to do within the 4 years? Raise your hand. Within 4 years. At least 4? And in the first year, in the first year, do you have at least 4? This is the ones that I really want you to concentrate on. So let me ask you this before we go on to the next one, because the next one, you can think about it and write them before you leave if you want. You can start jotting. It says, number 5 says, write a little paragraph of why these last 4 1-year goals are important to you. See, you have to start thinking. It's hard. But as you're thinking, let me ask you a question. Did this little exercise help you? It helps. This is huge. Did you know that this is what successful people do? I had no idea. I thought they were just lucky. Yeah. I used to think successful people were just like, he's just lucky. It's because, his mother. No, it's good. I used to really think that successful people were just lucky. I just thought that rich people were just lucky. And I found out that most people believe that. They really believe, and I venture to say that some of you in here, you really believe that rich and successful people are just plain lucky. And that's not true. Is there any luck involved? I'm sure there is. But the vast 90%, I'm going to say 90%, is pure knowing how to do it, setting some goals, hitting on it. That's how it stuff works. So do we have any questions right now? Anybody want to ask anything? Arnulfo, everything good? All right. Thank you for coming. So number 5 says, write a little paragraph about why these 4 one-year goals are important to you. Pretty powerful. Anybody would like to share one of these goals and why it's important to you? Anybody? Yes, sir, Adrian. Talk to us.
One of my top goals is to have a better relationship with church and Jesus.
Amen.
And the reason would be, to get closer to my long-term goals. It will help me get closer to my longer-term.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Anybody else? Frank?
One of my
You can take off your, that way you can speak better.
one of my top goals is be a better artist.
Be a better artist? Awesome.
It goes also to be a better writer,
Be a better writer?
and that goes into my reason for my other long-term goal is to have a graphic novel published.
To have a graphic novel, like
It's like my own comic story, but like a big story, or my own, nothing that I'm doing with others.
right, no, I understand. Your own book.
Yeah, published, and so that's my reason. I want to get better at those, so I can get better at that goal.
Amen. So, let me take Frank, for example. Let me just give you an example. Frank's been with us about, 6 years? Okay. 6 years ago, Frank, when you walked into these rooms, you were a little crazy and on drugs.
Yes.
I know Frank, so that's why I can tell you this. Were you thinking about writing a novel? I mean, seriously, that is. You might have thought about it and dreamed about it, but seriously, were you thinking about writing a novel, become a better writer 6 years ago?
No, not seriously.
Not seriously, right? It was just a dream.
Yeah.
It was just a dream. Did you really have that dream? Okay. You remember how I started this? How I started this? The Abel.
Yes.
He said it was all just a dream. He said, but for about 2 seconds. He says, then it became a decision, a commitment to myself. And that's what you've done. That's powerful. That's how you change your life. One decision at a time. One goal at a time. One commitment at a time. And you keep on going, and you keep on going, and you'll be able to answer number 6. Who must I become? And what must I do differently in my life to achieve these goals? That's the question you have to answer yourself. Number 6, Read it with me. The last question in the single page. In order to accomplish the goals that you have in life, ask yourself, who must I become? And what must I do differently in my life to achieve these goals? When you start answering this question for yourself, your life will start changing today. Period. Because you cannot, I said this over and over and over again, you cannot change your past overnight. Here's what you can do. You can change directions today. That's a powerful thought. And that's what I did in prison. I was in prison. And when I found this out, when I learned this, I said to myself, man, I'm in prison. I'm not going to get out to another few years. How am I going to change? I didn't have to change my past. I had to change my mind. Yeah? Did you get that? I didn't have to change my past. I had to change my mind. So guys, I hope I helped you tonight. I want to pass around our donation bucket. Do we still have it? Do we have our donation bucket, Chavarria? I brought my donation today, the waters. Guys, I want to thank everybody for coming. You know, everything we're doing a lot of great things. Things are starting to move. I'm starting to build this online presence to be able to do what I'm doing in these rooms online, building content, building videos, putting together things that anybody and everybody, everywhere I go around the world as I travel, can benefit from what we do here online. So thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you next week. God bless.